Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. In my today's session, I'll be discussing about motivation and its type. What is motivation? Motivation is a force that makes people act, set goals, and achieve them. It is a psychophysiological process that controls human behavior as well as sets its direction, actions, and consistency. Motivation is heavily influenced by culture, society, and lifestyle. Different cultures have their own motivation drivers. That can be education, social environment, lifestyle affected even more. Intrinsic and extrinsic types of motivations are two main categories of motivation, which I'll be discussing today. A rewarding future sponsors both type of motivation, but what makes them different is where the reward is coming from. For the intrinsic, it is internal rewards, while the extrinsic comes from outside of the individuals. It can be other people or something else. What is intrinsic motivation? Intrinsic motivation is most easily defined as those things that motivate a person with aim of being rewarded internally. This is an activity based on personal gratification or just for fun of it without expecting external praise. There are so many activities that are done daily and are dictated by intrinsic motivation. It could be going to the gym, learning new skills, playing games or sports, or helping someone cross the road because it gives you pleasure or sense of purpose. Let's have a look on the example of intrinsic motivation. Peter is a young footballer who loves what he does but isn't good enough. Everybody trains for 2 hours a day at the stadium, but Peter takes an extra hour for 1 hour after the training to do so. Some more practice. He wants to be good at his passion, not for applause, but himself. This is a typical example of intrinsic motivation. In the end, he will get better because he is self motivated to do so. Then comes what is extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation stands for all the things that serve as an external drive, which is classified into two categories: compensation and punishment. For compensation, it can be salary, bonus, goods, money, and appraisal. Punishment might influence includes fines, blames, judgments, and many other things. This side of extrinsic motivation is usually mistaken to be negative, but it has quite a lot of positivity. Extrinsic motivation is shown when an employee does his job well and gets fairly paid. At the same time, he comes to work on time because he knows if he comes late, he will lose money or even to be fired. Also, he will be able to get a bonus from supervisor if he achieves the goals set for him. Let's have a look on extrinsic motivation example. The sales department was in performance as expected. The department had decided to motivate them and promised to give a team bonus if they achieved the month's target goal. The monetary benefit reward was inspiring. The team has reached the goal even earlier. This is the most common example of extrinsic motivation in the workplace. Let's have a look on differences between intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation can be positive and negative. Extrinsic motivation can also be positive and negative. Intrinsic motivation generally comes from inside within yourself. Extrinsic motivation comes from outside the external subjects. Intrinsic motivation is hard to stimulate or faster. In extrinsic motivation, the reward is an automatic booster. In intrinsic motivation, sustainment is for a long period of time. Extrinsic motivation is limited, it holds on the individual. Intrinsic motivation is hard to apply to a group or an individual, and in extrinsic motivation, it is easy to apply to a whole group or team. Let's have a look on intrinsic motivations. There are 6 types of intrinsic motivation. The first one is competence motivation. Basically, competence motivation is driven by curiosity, willing to know more when you have skills. This type of motivation is also known as learning motivation and it involves building more expertise on a subject matter, not as a competition among the peers. So, if a promotion happens because of the skill, Bernard, it is plus, but it was not the primary goal. Secondly, there can be creative motivation. Creative motivation is also known as by the if any person is having the sense of wanting to say or express something, it could be in the form of words, art, song, business, or production, but it always starts from trying to express oneself. So, even if just one person is benefiting from the creative expression, the motivation is still sustained. Then comes achievement motivation. The achievement motivation is somewhat like competence motivation in that it aims to achieve a goal just for the personal development. Then comes the attitude motivation. This type of motivation is basically based on the willingness to change the world, to make something good, or to help people. It doesn't matter what people will say, how they feel, or what vibes seep from within. The main thing is that a person sees something that is wrong and wants to fix it, help it, or change it. Then comes affiliate motivation. The feeling of belonging to a group or society and being accepted is ignited by affiliate motivation. For example, any person wants to make money and that person is also wanting to do something in the life as well. That person is trying to have the job at different level and that person is like offered from company A, which is a well-known company and they make good money as well. Company B can also pay that person decent money, but company mission also includes supporting the community and good volunteering. So that person will be opting for company B rather than company A. This is what affiliate motivation is all about. Then comes physiological motivation. Physiological motivation focuses on satisfying the physical needs of the person. Therefore, the primary needs of life are the main goals for them to survive. In physiological motivation, the reward might not be always tangible, but it is always felt. No doubt, basic human needs are not negotiable. The desire to be healthy, sleep more, all of these drives are by this type of motivation. Then let's have a look on types of extrinsic motivation. There are 3 types of extrinsic motivation. The first one is reward based motivation, the second one is power based motivation, and the third one is fear based motivation. Reward based motivation is the only type of motivation that many are aware of because of its popularity, and this is the simplest way to get fast motivational boost. Power based motivation is basically just as the name already states. This is based on the human desire to have power over other people or change the situation around their lives. It can be said that controlling other people is not always bad, even if it has some negative connotations. It doesn't always mean control sometimes, it means that they are motivated to lead. A good example of power based motivation is leadership. A leader is a person motivated to lead people. Then comes thirdly, fear based motivation. It is a motivational type that drives people to achieve something they otherwise won't have been able to. It is not based on any monetary reward but on the fear of pain or awkward feeling. Fear based motivations are basically tagged to be negative, but it isn't. Though fear based motivation could involve negative results to motivate, it usually ends up producing positive results. So I must say that both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation are very important and they vary depending on the person's abilities and the capabilities and the inner desires to do any work. That is all from my side. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Allah Hafiz.